Questions are.
Okay, so let's hold the question. So should I go ahead and mute or what? Because they come in throughout the class.
Yes,
Go
let's
ahead and mute.
Yes.
Okay, I will do that right now. So everyone, I'm about to mute all of you. David, I'll have to unmute you once I get. So let me, all right, so now I'm going to ask you to unmute David, and you should be able to speak now. I've just asked you to unmute. Right, you're unmuted.
Perfect.
Okay.
We all set?
Yep, everything looks good.
Okay. Well, good afternoon, everybody. My name is David Kennedy, and I am an associate ombudsman here with the DC Healthcare Ombudsman's Office here in Washington, DC. Our office is located at 441 4th Street, Suite 250 here in Northwest DC. And today I'm here to talk about the kind of what our office does and the assistance our office can provide to the residents of the district. And so I'm glad you all are here. And by the end of the day, I'm going to make sure each of you have our direct contact information in the event that you have questions that you don't want to ask over the live and you just want to give our office a call. We have about 7 to 10 agents that are available Monday through Friday to answer your questions over the phone or through email. Can you all see my screen? Okay, so one thing that I wanted to discuss today was the qualified Medicare benefit. Now, let me go back and kind of talk more about the Healthcare Ombudsman's Office. We serve as healthcare advocates for the District of Columbia, and we help individuals with regard to DC Medicaid, and we can help with regard to Medicare to an extent. But for the majority of but for the most part, we help with DC Medicaid with residents who have DC Medicaid. If you have issues with your transportation, if you have issues getting medication, if you have issues with a doctor, let's say you have a PCA aide or a personal care aide and you're having issues with the company that's providing you services. Well, our office is here to kind of serve as that middle person between you and the benefits that you're receiving, or if you're having issues with the doctor and you want to make a complaint, we can help with that as well. So we get calls all throughout the day about a number of different issues. And so today, what I wanted to discuss was something that we assist with regard to seniors all the time. And I'm assuming the majority of everyone on this call has Medicare, and you may have already heard of this program, but I wanted to talk about this in the event that you haven't. And so as you understand, Medicare does have a monthly premium of right now it's $170. Now, just a little background about me. Before I started working with the Healthcare Ombudsman's Office, I used to work for the Social Security Administration. I did that for 10 years back in Ohio before I moved here. And so I would help individuals applying for Medicare, Social Security, SSI, and all of that. But now I'm on the other side helping people with Medicaid. So I understand a lot about Social Security as well. And I don't know if you remember, but years ago, Medicare used to cost about $97. And then every year, as you know, Medicare increases. Now it's at $170. And for seniors, that can be a very expensive line item in their budget, right? And as you know, it is deducted monthly out of your Social Security benefit. And so there's a program that the federal government has instituted, and each state is able to provide this to its residents. And this program is called the Qualified Medicare Benefit, or QMB. And it's administered, however, there are some income requirements. Now, I do understand that everybody may not qualify for DC Medicaid or Medicaid, regardless of what state you're in, because Medicaid has an income requirement. I think now it's about $1,100 or $1,200 per month in order to qualify for Medicaid. However, you can still qualify for QMB. And here, if you look on the screen here, the income limit for QMB for a single person within the district is $3,418 a month. What does that mean? That means if your income is under $3,418 per month, you are eligible for the QMB benefit. And what that will do is it will pay that monthly Medicare premium. So that's putting $170 back into your Social Security check, back into your pocket, and helping you out for the month. Now, for a couple, that limit is $4,598. And this covers like your monthly Medicare premiums, and it's a huge help for a lot of people. And so one thing our office does is we print the cards here. We help people get enrolled here. We help you fill out the application. Even if you worked for like the federal government or whatnot, or you didn't pay into Social Security and you're not eligible or qualified for Social Security, we can work with you to buy you in to where the state or DC will pay whatever the penalty is so that you can still get Medicare Part A and Part B. And that's something that we can work with you and talk with you one-on-one about. And so as you see here, the premium is $170. Once you're approved, QMB will start paying that monthly premium amount for you. Another thing that we're able to do for you is we can work with you to get the extra help or Medicare Part D, because as you know, once you turn 65 or once you're on Medicare, then you have to go through Medicare Part D for all of your prescriptions. Let's see. So QMB is something that has been around for a while, and it's going to continue to be around. It's not going to go anywhere anytime soon. And that's pretty much the gist of what the QMB program is. Another thing that our office does is we act as advocates. So if you're having issues with your, like I said, with your doctor, if you have Medicaid and you need assistance with transportation, you can give us a call. Even if you don't have DC Medicaid, even if your income is too high to where you don't qualify for QMB, we can help you find other programs in the city, whether it's for meal services, transportation outside of Medicaid. We can work with you to get that, Metro Access, all of that. We can help point you in the direction that you need to go in order to receive the benefits that you need. I know sometimes it can be difficult calling offices and you sit on hold for a long time, but one thing we really strive to do here in the Ombudsman's office is to ensure that whenever someone calls, we're available and we're present to help them, regardless of what the issue is. We may not be able to fix your problem, but we're going to find the person who can, and we're going to do everything in our power to get that issue resolved. I'll just tell you a simple, I'll share a story of a case that came up not too long ago. A gentleman came to our office because he was having issues with his transportation. But in talking to him, I discovered that he unfortunately had cancer, and his doctor's office, his insurance company, said that they weren't going to pay for his cancer surgery. And but they originally said they were going to pay for it. And so what we did was I got with my director, and she called everybody. She called the hospital, she called the doctor's office. And within 15 or 20 minutes, when the doctors had said that they would not accept his insurance because the insurance company and the doctor had an issue, we were able to get that guy scheduled again for his surgery to where he can get the operation he needed. And sometimes it can be difficult as a senior or as anybody to try to find somebody that will simply listen to your concern and do the necessary legwork to try to get it resolved. Just last week, I had a lady who called our office who she was with United Healthcare, but wanted to come back to straight DC Medicaid because she was receiving incontinent supplies, but United Healthcare wasn't going to pay for it. And it was causing her a lot of stress. But when she had Medicaid, she didn't have these issues. So we got on the phone with United Healthcare, and unfortunately, we had to be on the phone for about 45 minutes to about an hour and a half. However, at the end of that conversation, we were able to get her issue resolved. And so I just wanted to let you know kind of what our office does, what we can do to help you. And if you have a pen and paper, I'm going to give you our office phone number real quick. I'm going to take you to our office website real quick too. Let's see. So this is our office website, and we have a lot of resources here on the website, and it's healthcareombudsman.dc.gov. Okay. And here on our website, there's information, there's contact information. There's contact information here on the website. There's a little video I'll play for you all. 1 second here.
Thank you for calling Aggregate Healthcare. Please stay on the line and someone will assist you momentarily. Ma'am, we're going to have to transfer you to another department.
We've been to every department.
Thank you for calling Aggregate Healthcare. Please stay on the line and someone will assist.
Dear Mommy. Hello? DC Healthcare Ombudsman, how may I help you today? I'm calling about my husband. The doctor says he needs this treatment right away, but our health insurance says they won't cover it. They've sent us some explanation, but it's impossible to understand. I've called and called trying to get an answer, and all that happens is we get put on hold and redirected somewhere else. It happens all the time. What I'm gonna do first is get an answer for you in 48 hours. 48 hours? We're gonna do everything we can to get you that treatment. Don't worry. Thank you.
I'm going to take care of that for you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Call the healthcare ombudsman at 202-724-7491.
Okay.
Thank you for calling Aggregate Healthcare. Please stay.
So as you see here, that's just a little bit of what we do. Essentially, we do our best to try to resolve issues, and every issue is different, right? So a situation for one person won't be the issue for the next person. And we also help with resolving commercial cases. Now, this is for people who don't have Medicare, for people who have private health insurance to their employer. So it may not be necessarily for you, but you may have a family member or somebody who their insurance company through their job has denied coverage for something. So let's say, for example, let's say you have I'm just going to throw out an example, a 50-year-old nephew or cousin or brother or sister who is scheduled for surgery, but their insurance, let's say Aetna, the insurance company says, we're not going to pay for that surgery because we don't think it's necessary. Or they say, we're not going to pay for that medication because we don't think it's necessary. Well, you have the ability to appeal that decision, and you don't have to walk that by yourself. We have nurses in our office who spend their entire day building appeals and building cases so that we can get these decisions overturned. And so that's something that we do as well. So we not only help with DC Medicaid, but we also help individuals who have private insurance outside of Medicare resolve issues that, like resolve issues regarding getting appeals for medications and for different treatments that their doctor, rather that the insurance company denied. So I'm looking here and I see about 5 questions. Teresa, is it good if we start answering these questions? I see some hands raised.
Sure. What we can do though, because I have them all muted, we have to unmute as we ask each question. In other words, you have to unmute that person who's in sequentially, as far as order.
Okay, perfect. And can you see my face or you still see my screen?
I'm seeing both.
Okay, good. All right, so we're gonna start up here with Gregory Knight. I just hit the button to ask to unmute.
Yeah, ask him to unmute.
Hey, Gregory.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, I'm not Gregory. I'm his nurse.
Okay, hello.
Because he's a quadriplegic, but he just listens.
Okay.
But he already has DC Medicaid.
Okay.
As far as the transportation, could you direct me to a list of transportation?
If he has straight DC Medicaid, all of his transportation is going to be with a company called MTM Transportation.
MTM?
MTM, right. And I can give you their phone number.
Okay.
That number is 866.
Okay, well, let me tell you this. Mr. Knight is a quadriplegic. So therefore, he travels by ambulance.
Okay. And if
So
he has,
they assist with that too?
yes, if he has DC Medicaid, then MTM would coordinate and schedule and pay for that transportation.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah.
Let me unlock my phone.
And what would need to happen is MTM would send his doctor a form that the doctor needs to complete
Okay.
to ensure that he gets the right type of transportation every time he needs to go without having to call an ambulance.
Oh, perfect. Okay, I'm ready. The number?
So the number is 866-796-0601. Now, what I would suggest first is give our office a call just to verify that he does have straight DC Medicaid, and someone can look on there and verify that he has straight DC Medicaid.
He has both.
DC Medicaid and Medicare?
Yes.
Okay, well, all right, because if he has straight DC Medicaid, then MTM would be the transportation company. And they would be able to verify all of that in the system. Okay.
So this is the number on your website that he can reach out to, the 202-727 number?
Yes, it is. Yep.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate it.
You're very welcome. Okay, we're going to Mandy.
Hi, Mr. Kennedy. Thank you for the presentation.
Thank you.
I just had a quick question. So assuming that someone has been approved for QMB and and from your presentation and all the research that I've done, you stated that federal law says QMB participants have no legal liability to pay any cost sharing when Medicare pays something. And that's the same thing as everything that I've seen from a variety of sources from my research. And most providers are okay with that, but there is a major provider that's very well known in the city that, you know, gets used by lots and lots of people that says, and I know that, you know, if they accept Medicare, and the person has QMB, they have to write off or apply for the cost sharing payment directly to Medicaid or write it off. And yet they say, you know, even in advance of the actual appointment, yes, they do take Medicare, but they, quote, don't take Medicaid. And so they're not going to participate in writing off the cost sharing. So you still have to pay. And even though you can show them your QMB card and it states exactly what you've said on the back of the card, they still charge you.
Yeah.
What can be done about that?
In instances like that, we are working directly with, you know, we're trying to get things like that resolved with this particular provider. However, in the meantime, what you can do, if you have bills that have been paid, you can request a reimbursement, or if you have if you haven't made the payment, but you do still have the bill, you can send the bill to our office, and we will then work with our billing team and reimbursement coordinators to get everything squared away to where there's still no cost. So if there are payments that have been made, we can assist with obtaining a reimbursement. Now, what I can do is, let me see, I think there's a form section on here.
So, I mean, I just want to be sure I understood all the facts correctly. I am right. They can't do that, right? They can't just bypass it and say, we don't participate, then we're not going to do it.
They can't, but they do.
Right.
And that's
but legally they can't.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And in instances like that, what we do is, and this is for anyone, we will still ensure that there's no cost to the beneficiary. So if it has been paid, then what we'll do is I'm clicking on the form here. If it has been paid, what we will do is, as long as we have verification of that payment, we'll just need you to fill out, or anyone to fill this form out. This is a Medicaid reimbursement form. You fill it out, you provide the receipt showing or verification showing that the bill was paid, and then Medicaid will reimburse you.
Okay,
Okay.
so it hasn't been paid, but I just would
If,
help,
yeah,
like,
if,
do that to me again.
if it hasn't been paid, then you just need to contact our office and we'll give you well, I can give you our email address now. And you can
Okay.
just email that to us along
Okay.
with the contact information and Medicaid ID number and say, please help me, please pay this bill. And then we'll handle it from there.
Okay,
The email address for our office is healthcareombudsman@dc.gov.
so it's healthcare ombudsman at dc.gov.
Yes, and so
Okay.
just send us an email with the bill. Make sure you include the QMB ID number, that number that starts with the 7. And then what we'll do is we'll forward that on and we'll document that it's been submitted. We'll forward it on so that it can get paid. That process takes about 60, sometimes up to 90 days, but legally we have up to 90 days to get it squared away.
Okay, and what's your office number, just in case?
It's 202
Mhm.
724-7491.
Okay, and they can't like send it off to a collection agency or anything like that while you're working on it, right?
Once we receive it, we work to try to get it done within 60 to 90 days. They're not supposed to. Again, I'm saying they're not supposed to, but we can't stop them from doing that. But
Okay.
what we have done in the time past, we'll work with the collection agency to try to get that removed too, though, if it has happened.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Queen Harris.
Good afternoon.
Queen, you've just
That was me,
muted
sorry.
yourself again. Queen, you need to unmute.
Okay, yes,
Hi.
I have a question.
Yes,
Did you give a website? Or did I miss something?
our office website, yes.
Could you give it to me again, please?
Yes, it's healthcareombudsman.dc.gov.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're very welcome. Okay. Tyreen Harrell.
Hello?
Hello.
Yes. I want you to
How can we
hold on
help
a
you?
minute. Okay, I'm here. I'm on the phone, but I have a question. One, I don't see your screen. It's just all black. I didn't see the video, anything you're showing. I see your face in a small corner, but I don't see anything else on my screen.
Zoom.
That would not be his problem. So perhaps we can later after the session show you how you can make sure that it never happens again, but his screen is visible.
Oh, because there's other people saying that in chat. That they couldn't see the video. It wasn't just
No,
me.
I'm watching it,
I understand that some people are watching it. All I'm saying
but
is,
it's not.
okay, I
not
got you.
his fault.
Let's
It is
move
not
on.
his
Let's move
fault.
on. I got that.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm with you.
Okay. Wayne. I need you to unmute, Wayne.
Yeah, can you hear me?
I can, yes.
Okay, how you doing? Appreciate
Good.
your services there.
Yes.
Yeah, I was calling for my mother. Like, she retired from the district government, and they gave her benefits from the district,
Mm-hmm.
which limit a lot of her benefits, and she's 78. And I was wondering if she would qualify for Medicaid or Medicare.
It is possible. What I would suggest is give our office a call. That way you all can speak with someone directly and they can pull up whatever information needs to be pulled up and ask income questions.
Okay.
And you can give us a call. You can call right now. We have people there waiting to answer the call. It's 202-724-5494. 749
that's 724
7491.
7491. I noticed you had a different number on the screen.
So we have a
727-8370.
no, if you look on the screen here, we have one right here. It's written right here. I just highlighted it.
Oh, okay.
724-7491.
Okay, 724.
Oh, and another thing for everyone that I didn't mention, you can come into our office. You don't need an appointment. We're located at 441 4th Street. So maybe you don't feel comfortable sharing your information over the phone. You can always walk into our office. We still require, whenever someone comes in the office, we ask that everyone wears a mask, and the staff members will wear a mask as well. We'll sit across the table from you, and we can answer your questions. If you have bills, you can bring them in. Even if you want to apply for QMB, you can apply in the office, or you can apply online at districtdirect.dc.gov.
All right, I got you.
But we can help anybody with that in the office, okay?
How about tablet? Can you speak on the tablet to a representative, or
Speak on the phone to a representative?
nah, like on a tablet, or do you
Oh,
have?
no, unfortunately not. We're only accessible through telephone and in office and through
Okay.
email.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Mr. Kennedy, can I ask one more question?
Absolutely.
So with diabetic supplies that are picked up quarterly from like a CVS pharmacy, Medicare pays 80% and the QMB is supposed to pick up the other 20%, or they write it off. I don't know how that works exactly, but with every pharmacist in like 4 different CVS locations, they don't know how to enter QMB, even though you've handed over your card and it has the card number on the front and specifications that they can't bill any copayment on the back. They say that they don't know how to enter that into the system, and then you're always forced to pay in cash like the other 20%. Is there, and that's happened to me like at least the last 3 times I've gone in. Is there any way around that?
Is this has this always happened, or
Well,
just
I'm
recently?
new to diabetic supplies and to Medicare, so the last 3 times is like my first 3 times, and
Okay.
eventually Mrs. Holt ended up getting involved
Mhm.
and worked it out, but the last time it took like 7 hours of, and the time before that was 6 hours of being there and trying to get help.
Yeah, that should not be the case. And what I would suggest doing is you can give us a call directly so that we can actually go into the record and look and see. And if necessary, we can even bring on one of the pharmacists for Medicaid, and they can kind of walk us through the process and see kind of what the issue is and why those particular pharmacies are having a problem. But it sounds like you did work with our director, Ms. Maud Hope, and
Yeah.
you were able to get it resolved, right?
Well, resolved for that time, but I'm due to pick up the next batch in like a week, and I'm dreading it because I could just imagine that it's going to be the same thing again, and it's incredibly frustrating.
Okay, 1 second here. So what I would suggest you do, just shoot me an email at david.kennedy@dc.gov. That's my direct email, david.kennedy@dc.gov, with your
Okay,
contact information. And then when I get off of this call, I will follow up with you and see how we can ensure that that doesn't happen.
okay, thank you so much.
Absolutely. Again, the email address is david.kennedy@dc.gov.
Okay.
David.Kennedy@dc.gov.
Okay, Barbara, can you unmute for me, please?
Okay, I have a question.
Yes.
Okay, about 2 years ago, my husband had passed, right?
Mhm,
At the time we were separated.
mhm.
So when he passed, he had owed Social Security or whoever some money because he had came out on disability.
Mhm.
Now they had me to pay the money back, even
Yeah.
though we were separated.
Yeah. If, and this is just based on my knowledge when I used to work at Social Security, even though you were separated, if you're receiving a benefit off of his record, then you are still, it's still technically his record. So if you were like, even if you all were married, but you weren't even applying or receiving anything off of his record, then
Mhm.
nothing would happen. But because you are collecting a benefit off of his record, then you are still, then that overpayment is still, you know, you're responsible for the overpayment.
Okay, the problem is, okay, before he passed,
Mhm.
he was getting mail to my house.
Wow. Yeah. What I would suggest now, you know, with Social Security, you can request that overpayment. Like let's say the overpayment is $5,000. You typically they want to try to recover it in 36 months. But what you can do is you can call and say, I can't financially afford to do that. And I've seen
Thank you for taking my question.
payments as low as $10 per month that you can pay back to Social Security. So don't feel like you have to pay the amount that they're trying to withdraw. You can go
Okay.
fill out the form. It's the SSA 632. That's the overpayment form. It's the SSA 632 that you would have to fill out. Once you fill that out, then it's just a matter of them looking at it. You just tell them that you know, because of your financial situation, you can't afford to pay $400 a month. You want to pay $20 or $30 a month. And more than likely, they always go and make that, they will agree to that type of repayment plan.
Okay, you said SSA 32.
632.
Oh,
632.
632. Oh,
Yeah, that's the SSA overpayment form.
okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Go through. I want to make sure I mute everybody else. Let's see when you mute. Okay. Michael Charles.
Yes, can you hear me?
I can. Yes.
Yes, I was on the screen now. It's kind of like frozen, right? But you know, you have other things on the screen, and if you was to go up, I can screen click. No, I can screen. I can take a picture of the screen.
Mm-hmm.
So, like at the bottom, I think you have some telephone numbers. But if you have other things that I could screen.
Screenshot. Okay.
Yes, screenshot. Please,
so let's see. I'm going to show you our brochures. 1 second here. So this is one of our brochures here, and it's helpful information. I mean, it's just our contact information.
Screen didn't move. I'm still out understanding the quality Medicare beneficial program.
Can you all screen sharing? Share. Hold on. Can you see it now?
Okay, now I can see it. Yes.
Okay, perfect. So this is our brochure. This is what I give people when I go out into the community to different areas. Another good number to have is the Office of Aging, and you may already have their number, but they have resources with regard to like transportation and food and things like that. And here's that number, 202-724-5626.
Thank you.
Okay. There's
Yes.
another program, and I don't know if you all are aware of it, but it's called the EPD waiver program. Okay?
Could you go to the top one more time, please?
Can I do what?
Could you go to the top of the screen?
Yes. Yes.
Thank you.
So there's another program that I wanted to share that I didn't mention yet. It's called the EPD waiver program. And what that is, it's a elderly or people with disabilities. And so, you know, as we all get older, you know, like there are some things that you used to be able to do that you can no longer do, and you need a little assistance. Well, this program, the EPD waiver program, is a program where you can apply to have an aide come to your house and work with you throughout the day, right? And depending on the level of need, I've seen some people with 24 hours, and I've seen some people with as little as 7 or 8 hours. Well, the minimum is about 8 hours a day, 7 or 8 hours a day. And so in order to be eligible for that, you first must have a conversation with your doctor. And then your doctor completes the necessary paperwork. And what happens is that form is then sent to a company called Liberty Healthcare. Liberty is contracted with Medicaid to do an assessment. So Liberty will contact you to do an assessment to determine how many hours you are eligible for, okay? And then at that point, what happens is Medicaid will then work with you to find an aide or a company that will provide you with the necessary hours. And so that's another option, and we can help you get set up with that as well. Let's see. So like I said, we help if you're having issues with, if you want to enroll in Medicaid, billing issues, if you want to apply for the EPD waiver program, if you have issues with Medicare, if you're having an issue with your doctor, if you're feeling discriminated against, if you're feeling like, you know, every time you call the doctor, no one answers the phone and you're trying to simply schedule an appointment, we'll do the best we can to try to ensure that we can get that situation resolved. Let me see here. I'm gonna go back to here. Let's see.
Thank you so much for this page. This page is full of information.
Absolutely, absolutely. And what I can do is I can email all of these to Teresa so she at least has them and can forward it out to the rest of the group or people who you know may need it, but they don't have access to it right now, or they don't need it right now. I'm going back to the website. Let's make sure we're sharing that. Perfect. Okay. So thank you for that question. I'm going to come to Diane, Miss Diane. Hi, Diane. I need you to hold on, Diane.
That's a free computer, right? Yeah.
I need you to unmute, Diane. Okay.
Hello.
Hello.
Can you hear me? Look, I wanted to know, because I'm paralyzed on one side and have trouble walking, how do I go about getting an electrical wheelchair, because I can't push a regular wheelchair?
Okay. So do you have Medicare?
Yes, I do. Medicare and Medicaid.
You have DC Medicaid. Okay. So first things first, you need to talk with your doctor, and then your doctor will submit up a request for that to see if it's something that will be approved. And based on what you're saying, it sounds like it would be approved, but you need to have the conversation first with your doctor.
Right.
Okay. And then your doctor will help you find a company that can come out and get you measured for that wheelchair. And then once you've been measured for that wheelchair, then it's just a matter of ordering it and it being delivered. But first, I would suggest give your doctor a call. Now, if after you've spoken to your doctor approves you for it, and then you're having a difficult time working with that particular company, you can give our office a call and we'll try to assist to try to speed up the, to try to speed things up or see what the issue is.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Everin.
Oh, yes. Well, thank you for this presentation.
Mm-hmm.
I have a family member who could use transportation.
Mm-hmm.
Does he have to call your office and give his Medicaid number?
Yes. Now, how old is this family member?
He's a senior
Okay.
and it's,
Now, what we can do is we'll check to see if he has DC Medicaid. If indeed he has DC Medicaid, he will then need to go through MTM, and we can provide that number when he calls. Or if he doesn't have DC Medicaid and all he has is QMB. Now, let me say this, QMB is separate from DC Medicaid. So it's not fully DC Medicaid. It's just pays the monthly Medicare premiums and can assist with copays.
yeah, well, he has Medicaid.
Okay.
I'm sure of that. Mhm.
So if he has straight DC Medicaid, then MTM would be the company that he needs to contact. And their number again is 866
Mhm.
796
Mhm.
0601.
Okay. All right, and when he calls, they would ask for verification that he has DC Medicaid.
Absolutely. They're going to ask his name, date of birth. They're going to confirm his Medicaid ID number. Once all of that's been confirmed, then they will work with him to schedule his appointment to have that transportation. Now, they always ask for about 3 days before the appointment date. Okay.
I see.
So
Mhm.
just want to give them a call as early as possible to try to get that scheduled.
Okay.
Okay.
I know on occasion he's had a seizure and we had to call the ambulance at that time.
Mhm.
So there was no prior notice that he was going to
Need
transportation. You see what I'm saying? It's something
Exactly.
that occurs suddenly.
Exactly. Yeah, but for those instances where, he knows he has a dental appointment or a doctor's appointment next week or 2 weeks from now, just give our office a call and we can, at that time, we can, connect him with MTM or he can call MTM directly.
Yes, I've never seen an MTM car. Are they in private cars or what?
No, their number typically is on the Medicare card.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Mr. Kennedy. I've got to grab, somebody's at my door. Thank you.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome. Thank you. Barbara Parrish.
Hi, how are you?
I'm well, and yourself?
Fine. I've been having a problem. I take brand medication
Mhm.
only, and the doctors put it on my prescription. Matter of fact, I'm with WareCare,
Mhm.
and I'm having a problem with CVS. In DC, they say they don't, and well, all over the world keep saying they don't carry brand. So I have to go through CVS mail order, and they sometimes keep mixing my medicine with generic. I have to sometimes send it back. Now they keep mixing it and they're not taking it back. And it's like I have to wait till the next month to get my medication. And the doctors are checking the box and they put my prescriptions brand necessarily. And I'm
Okay.
having a problem with that.
So is it an issue? And you might need to actually contact our office directly so that we can, go a little further and asking different questions. But if you have WellCare, we want to make sure that, because Medicaid at that point is not covering the medication. So we want to make sure that the prior authorization has been sent and has been approved with WellCare. And if WellCare has approved the prior authorization, well, then the pharmacy at that point is supposed to give the medication that the insurance company has agreed to pay. So we want to double check and ensure that the prior authorization has been submitted to WellCare. And also with a lot of these medications, those prior authorizations are only good sometimes for 2 and 3 months, depending on the medicine.
No, I've been on brand for 22 years.
Okay.
It's just that when they switched me over to WareCare, when I was with Aetna, they authorized it for a year. And then the doctors put it in when I'm sitting in there and they check that box and they saying they don't know why they keep giving me generic.
I would suggest you contact WellCare and
no, WareCare is the person I'm having a problem with because they keep doing the same thing. And then when I get the medication, it be mixed like my EpiPen. They sent me generic and I had to let the homemaker take it back to the pharmacy. So, I probably need to call your office. Like
I would suggest give us a call.
I'm having a problem.
Because
let me ask you one more question.
Yes.
when is open season? Because I think I want to switch because I think they put me with Ware Care for 2 years now.
So
And I want to
open
go to
enrollment.
someone else.
Okay, so open enrollment typically is around the last quarter of the year. So it starts like December 7th or the end of November, and it goes through, wait, no, it's like the end of October through December, and then that plan is ineffective in January.
Okay.
From the middle to the end of October through December. Now, what you can do is contact the Office of Aging. Let's see. Now, this is the District of Columbia Healthcare. Can you all see it? It says District of Columbia State Health Insurance Assistance Program. Can you see that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And you can give them a call. And what they do is they work as a third party, and there's every state in the country has it. And you know how Medicare has a number of different companies that they work with as far as insurance is concerned? Well, you can call the SHIP office here in DC, and they will give you they will give you advice on the different plans in the area without trying to sell you one or the other.
Okay.
So you know how during open enrollment season, you get about 15, you're just getting mail from everybody. And if you speak to an enrollment person with with a particular company, they're going to try to sell you that plan, whether it's the best situation for you or not. And so what I would suggest is give this number a call, and they can help you navigate the process. Even now, you might be able to switch now. So I would suggest give them a call, and you'll have to leave a message and make sure you say your number clearly, because then they'll call you back within 24 to 48 hours. And I work with them all the time. And you might be able to switch sooner.
Okay.
Maybe
Let me ask you one more question.
Yes.
When we call, you know how you call for the cab with Metro SS, and we call for a cab, sometimes they don't pick you up. I've been having a lot of problems with that. A lot of people that I know also. We call them, if they be no show, and they leave you waiting for hours.
And this is with Metro Access?
Yeah, with their yellow cab company.
Yeah, you can contact the Office of Aging about that. And because the Office of Aging kind of helps to oversee the Metro Access program for the seniors.
Okay, because I'm with Liberty, so I'm familiar with them. And then I'm with Mom's Mill, so I'm familiar with Department of Aging. Then I know one part of Department of Aging we gotta be careful with, because when I try to go through, they try to get me to come through their home health aid services. And they was talking about using my Medicaid card to pay the aid. Then turn around, if you was getting SSI or something and you own a home, they can put that thing to take your house from you.
Now that's something yet. So, and this is, that's across the board, and everyone should be aware.
That's why I mentioned it, because they came at me.
Yeah.
But
when you apply for DC Medicaid, because it is a state funded benefit, so state dollars are being used to help provide whatever service, one might be receiving. If you own a home, nothing happens while you own the home, but if you own a home, or if you go to sell the house while you're alive, or if your family tries to do it once you pass away, part of that process includes they're going to check to see how much money Medicaid paid out for you while you were receiving Medicaid. And there have been instances, and I've helped different families, where over the 20-year period, $800,000 was paid out for Medicaid. And if you think about it, Medicaid, every time you go to the doctor, all that, home health services. And so then that has to go to the state first, that has to be paid back to Medicaid before the family or you receive the proceeds from the house. So that's just something
it's only pertaining to SSI. Then they said if the judge awarded you your case, you'd be exempt from that. But I get Social Security, retirement, disability. So that's what I get.
Okay.
So I'm fine with that. If you're receiving Social Security, you're okay. But SSI, that's when you have a problem.
Yeah, we advise people to speak to an estate attorney, especially if you have property in DC and you're applying for benefits or whatnot. Just speak to an attorney just so you're aware of what your rights are and how things would work if you wanted
Okay,
to set
so
it up.
thank you so much for answering my questions. You
You're
have a
welcome.
blessed one. Bye-bye.
Mhm. Kim Johnson.
Yes, Mr. Kennedy, good evening, and thank you for your presentation. Very nice presentation.
Absolutely.
My question
Thank
to you is, during your presentation, you mentioned about once you turn 65, you automatically go to Medicare Part D. Can you explain that again?
Okay, so when we turn 65, so once you turn 65, typically, or if you were already on disability benefits before you turn 65.
Right.
So let me say that so let's say you're 50 years old, you're on disability benefits through the Social Security Administration. 2 years or 24 months after you start receiving disability benefits, you then become eligible for Medicare Part A and Part B.
Right.
So that's one way to get to Medicare. The vast majority of everyone else can start receiving Medicare simply by when they turn 65, they will apply for Medicare. And you have 3 different enrollment periods. You have your initial enrollment period, which is 3 months before 65, month of 65, and then 3 months after. Then you have your general enrollment period, which is anytime after 65. You would have to apply between January and March, and then starting in June or July, Medicare then becomes available. Or the special enrollment period. So there's 3 different enrollment periods: general enrollment period, initial enrollment period, and special enrollment period. Is for individuals who, at the age of 65, they're still covered by their employer's health insurance, so they don't need Medicare. So let's say someone decides that they want to work until 70. Well, you don't have to apply for Medicare because you have health insurance through your employer. So what somebody can do is in the special enrollment period, you just have to complete a form. It's called the 40B with Medicare, simply verifying and showing that you've had insurance through your employer, so you're not going to be hit with a 10% penalty for every year you didn't enroll in Medicare. So you have the initial enrollment period, general enrollment period, and special enrollment period. But all of those enrollment periods get you to the place and point to where you are able to start receiving Medicare. Once you start receiving Medicare, what I was saying is our office, what we do is we help individuals when it comes to the QMB benefit, which is the qualified Medicare benefit. Okay. And what that means, what that means is if your monthly income is under $3,000,
right,
that $3,000 amount,
right,
you can apply for QMB, which will pay $170 or whatever Medicare is. Now, the benefit to this is, like I said, years ago, Medicare at one point was $97. Then it was $107, no, $103, $107, $110, $117, $120. Then it jumped up, to about $150. Now it's $170, and it's only going to continue to get more expensive.
Right.
But the benefit to having QMB is, regardless of what that Medicare premium is, it's going to be paid for. So you don't have to worry about that not being paid. Now, what I would always suggest, and what I would tell people is, if you have applied for QMB, sometimes it does take a while for the process of Medicaid starting to pay the monthly Medicare premium. Sometimes it does take a while for that to go into effect. And if you're having issues, and if you notice that, you think you have QMB, but they're still taking money out your Social Security check, give our office a call, because we might need to go in and re-trigger that input, because I do see that, honestly. So I do see that things will happen, like something will change, and then we stop paying it, but we shouldn't stop paying it. And so we can work with you to go back and pay it. So everyone, go back and check your Social Security. If you think you have QMB already, make sure that that's being paid by us, so that you can reap the benefit of having that QMB program.
Is there a number where you can call to check that?
Yes, you can give us a call at, first you can call Social Security, and their number is 800-772-1213, and they will let you know whether or not Medicaid is paying for your Medicare, or if it's being deducted out of your check. Or you can go online at ssa.gov, and you can check there on the website, or you can call our office and we can look to see. And our number is 202-724-7491.
Yeah, when you go online and check with Social Security, they give you a you got to request a passcode, and then it takes 10 days. They send that in, and by the time you go back in, you lost the time.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
that is crazy.
Now, but you can always give them a call. And I know that their offices are now open to the public. So if you have nothing but time on your hand, you can always go down there and sit and wait and talk to somebody just to see. But if indeed you know you've applied for QMB and you have a QMB card, but that money is still being deducted, give us a call, because we just need to go back in and make sure everything is squared away.
So what if you don't have a QMB card? Because I don't know if I'm getting it or not. I really don't.
Okay, so give us a call at 202-724-7491. And anybody can check to see. You give us your social security number. We can look in the system to see if you have the benefit. Now, if you are computer savvy and you're comfortable online, what we can do, or what you can do, is go online to District Direct. I'm going to share that. And this is where you can actually go online and you can apply for QMB. So if you're comfortable using the computer and you don't have a problem applying for things online, you can go right on here. You can apply for QMB. You can apply for food stamps. You can apply for Medicaid. You can apply for all of it right here online. And once you do that, it typically, like I said, takes about 60 days for everything to go through. So you can apply this way, or you can come into our office and we have the paper form that you can fill out here in the office. But that online address information is districtdirect.dc.gov.
Okay, Mr. Kennedy, one more question. What's the number to the DC Department of Aging again, the direct number?
Okay, so the number to the Department of Aging, let me see. Let me pull that up for you.
Okay, thank you.
So their direct number is 202-724-5626.
Thank you so much. God bless you.
God bless you as well. Another number that I want to make sure everyone here has is the number to Adult Protective Services.
Oh, yes.
Which is 202-541-3950. And you never know, and I pray to God that you never need it for you, but if you know of a family member or a friend or someone who has an aid and there's an issue, you can give that number a call. Or if there are situations going on, and you can always call us and we can try to get whatever that situation is resolved.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Okay, I see a couple hands here. Tyrene Harrell.
Hello, this is Tylene. Thank you so much. This has been a wonderful, informative meeting. I have a quick question. Once I turned 65 last year, and they had sent me a Medicare card before my birthday, and then they took me off of Medicaid. But then I called somebody, I forgot. But anyway, I filled out another form and they sent me something back, and I thought it said that I had Medicaid fee for service.
Okay.
So anyway, I guess I didn't go to the doctor a lot last year. But anyway, I think at the end of the year, I got somebody told me that I didn't have Medicaid. So
it sounds like what you need to do, and I would suggest you do this today. Give our office a call so that we can actually go in the system and check to see what's going on. And we'll be able to answer that question directly. And worst case, if you don't have Medicaid, we can ensure that you get signed up for it and work with you to do that. And and that can be by you coming in the office, filling out an application, or going down to one of the service centers, whatever. But we would need to speak with you directly, because that sounds like there may be some things we need to help you with. And again, that number is 202-724-7491.
Thank you so much to Mr. Kennedy. I'll call.
Absolutely. Denise Jackson.
Okay. Hi, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, my question was, I'm not 65 yet, but my Medicaid is AmeriHealth,
Mm-hmm.
and I love it because they have a lot of benefits with it.
Right.
But I know it's been going on for years though, but why do when you turn 65, you have to get a whole new Medicaid, because why you can't keep the one you have?
So Medicaid, years ago, Medicaid began to privatize. What that meant was insurance companies do a better job at taking care of, that there are a lot more programs and things like that that AmeriHealth has that Medicaid doesn't have.
Right.
And so, however, once you turn 65, because all of this is still public dollars, so once you turn 65, the government has it set up to where Medicare then becomes the primary, and then Medicaid will become secondary. Now, they are moving to like dual complete plans, for example. So there's one now with United Healthcare, and that just started back in February. It's like a pilot program for people who have DC Medicaid, and they also have Medicare. Well, they were then put with United Healthcare, and United Healthcare does what Medicaid used to do for them. But Medicaid is paying United Healthcare for that program. So that's and that's in its pilot stage. So we'll see after a year or two how that works for individuals. But it is possible that down the line, companies like AmeriHealth and things like that, they will be helping people who have the straight DC Medicaid. However, I don't know. That's way above my pay grade, but that is, this is the first year of that pilot with the dual complete. It works for some people. For other people, it can be, it's a nightmare. And so,
because it's a good program, my insurance, because they have Weight Watchers. We can go to the gym.
Yeah.
We get lift rides to your appointments, and there's a couple other things they do.
Yeah.
They do. And
AmeriHealth,
and straight Medicaid, like when you turn 65, they don't do all that for the seniors.
Right. Well, you get transportation, but a lot of those other benefits, you may not necessarily have access to with the Medicaid. But I don't know what the future holds, but that might be in the works. I don't know.
I would love to keep my insurance, really. But I know.
Now, this is something I'm glad you brought that up, because for people who are under the age of 65 and you're in her situation where you have AmeriHealth, but you know that you're going to be eligible for DC Medicaid, for Medicare in like 3 years or so. In like 3 or 4 months. What you need to do, you need to know, because no one's going to come tell you. And what happens a lot of times is you're like, by law, AmeriHealth, for example, can't cover you past a certain age. So what happens is people's insurance stops, and they don't realize that it stopped until they no longer have it, right? And they were supposed to apply for Medicare at a certain time, but you didn't apply because you didn't know. And I feel like that's why organizations like this and Teresa helping to set up things like this, to where we can come and speak to people and make you aware that 3 months before you turn 65, you need to apply for Medicare. One of the things that I see all the time that really breaks my heart is that people will apply for Medicare only to and then once they get the bill, they say, well, I can't afford this. So then they cancel Medicare, right? And then once you cancel it, if you're outside of your initial enrollment period, it can take time to try to re-enroll you. And many times there's a penalty for that. So tell all your friends, if you're eligible for Medicare 3 months before you turn 65, it's so important that you apply for the Medicare benefit. And if your monthly income is under the $3,000 threshold, and I want to make sure I want to make sure I get that 100% correct. So that that limit is, let me see here, $3,418. So if your monthly income is under $3,418, you are eligible for Q&B. And so what that means is you don't have to pay for that monthly Medicare premium. Okay.
Okay. Oh, thank you.
You're very welcome. I see a question by Mandy is back here.
Hi, just following up on a statement that you made that if you own a house and you sell it, that the DC government wants to come back and try to recoup funds that they contributed towards copay and premiums, et cetera. So let's say you don't have a house, but the person passes. Do they go after the person's bank account or their estate?
That would be a question better suited for an estate attorney. What I know is that if you have a property, that they can go after that.
Yeah, I think I saw online that it only applies, I just thought maybe you had different information. It only applies to a home, not to your assets.
Yeah, just to that house once that house is sold. So like, let's say the house stayed in the family's name and was never sold. Well, the government can't come and make you sell the house.
Yeah.
But the moment that house goes up for sale, once you have a buyer, well, then, then that's where that would be you would have to, may have to sell, or you may have to pay that back.
Okay.
Let's see. Thank you for that question. Diane?
Okay. We're up basically at 2:15. I don't know, David, if you'd like to stand.
Hello.
But
this Diane.
What'd you say?
I have a question. This is Diane. My question is, if you work in the federal government and your husband don't, and he draws Social Security, but they didn't apply for Medicaid, for Medicare because they couldn't afford it, because it's 300 and something a month and they can't afford it, can they get on Q&B?
Yes, as long as you fall within that income range, and that's the key, that income range that we talked about. And let me go back to that.
Well, the income range for both of them is what?
So for two people, it is, let me see. $4,000. I have to pull it up here. So for two people, it's $4,598.
$4,598.
Yes.
And Q&B is like Medicare, right?
Q&B simply pays your monthly Medicare premium, and it can also help you with covering copays.
Oh, okay. And they both over, one is 78 and he's 80.
Okay, yeah. So what they're gonna ask for is that monthly income. So for example, if their monthly income is $5,000, unfortunately, the couple will not be eligible for Q&B.
That's crazy. Okay, thank you. I didn't want to say that's crazy because I mean, goodness gracious, when you work 35, 40 years, you should be allowed something.
I understand.
Okay, I was getting a little bit frustrated there. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Evron?
David, I have I asked you a question earlier. This person has AmeriHealth insurance, but that doesn't mean he's has DC Medicaid. Is that correct?
Well, DC Medicaid is in order to have AmeriHealth, you would have had to have applied for DC Medicaid. Now, if AmeriHealth is the managed care plan, then the transportation would be through AmeriHealth. So that individual would need to contact AmeriHealth directly. And
Okay, well, the
AmeriHealth-
reason I raised that is because I don't think well, I know he has AmeriHealth.
Mhm.
So you're saying that if he has AmeriHealth insurance, he is in fact enrolled in DC Medicaid.
Yes, so the only way to get AmeriHealth, you have to enroll in DC Medicaid, and then AmeriHealth is the managed care company that Medicaid is contracted with to provide him with services.
Okay, because when you mention the sale of property, that also raises some concern about someone who's possibly eligible to inherit property. You don't want them to have to pay up.
Yeah, that's
back on
something
the
you
Medicaid.
gotta, you definitely gotta look at that and consider that, but yes.
Well, thank you very much for that
All right.
information.
You're welcome. C. Jolly,
Yes, Mr. Kennedy, how are you, sir?
I'm good, thank you.
Thank you for this valuable information and taking the time out to spend with us.
Mhm.
Running up on that property issue, and you may not be able to answer this question. So Medicaid, QMB and Medicare may be trying to recoup money spent for medical care.
Well, now QMB doesn't do that. So if you have QMB, you don't have to worry about that. This is for people who just have like the straight DC Medicaid, the EPD waiver and all of that. But QMB, you don't have to worry about that.
So that's just for the straight
Straight
waiver.
DC Medicaid, yes. For
Okay.
people who have
So
Medicaid,
QMB, you're in good shape. And
Yes.
that's what that was my understanding, but I wanted to make sure that I was on the correct page.
yes.
But
absolutely.
let me go ahead and poke the pig a little bit on this. If I had straight Medicaid and I sold my home, I should be able to write that off on taxes, correct? And I know you're not a tax attorney.
Yeah, so unfortunately, I can't answer that question.
Okay.
But it does
Fair
sound
enough.
like, and I'm gonna maybe talk with Teresa and see if we can get some of our attorneys here within the Department of Healthcare and Finance. And maybe we can schedule a Zoom that is specifically tailored to that.
That would be very helpful because that would help to help other colleagues and other seniors that who are unaware. And that's one of the big things. Knowledge is so important because many of them, as well as myself, are unaware of what is going on, what policy principles and benefits that we have. So
Absolutely.
again, this is very beneficial and thank you for your time, sir.
Absolutely, yes. So I'll coordinate with Teresa. We'll see if maybe another time I can speak with some of the attorneys and have them available to answer those types of questions.
The Legal Aid Society might be willing to do something like that, like a presentation.
Okay, that's good to know. Cool too.
Okay, David, we're pretty much close to a couple minutes away from your end time. I don't know if you have the time, but we do have, quite a few hands up. How would you like to come back another time so you can answer more questions? Because we are at the very, minute away from saying, your
Yes.
allotted time. I know
So-
by now you must be tired.
Well, let me say this. I do appreciate everything and all the questions. What I would do, your questions can be answered on a one-on-one basis. And so I'm going to give everyone our office number, right? And there are about 7 to 10 people right now on the phones available to answer the questions if you have a question about QMB, and that way they can actually look up your information, so we're not discussing personal information here on the Zoom call. So you can call our office directly at 202-724-7491. Okay. And like I said, anyone is available to answer the question and provide you with detailed information about your case.
Okay.
All right.
All right, so I'd like everyone, let me just unmute all, and you can say goodbye to Mr. Kennedy for his most wonderful presentation. So go ahead, you feel free to unmute yourself if you care to and say goodbye to Mr. Kennedy. Let's make sure that they can. Yeah, so they should be all. And Mr. Kennedy, I just want to thank you again. I'm looking forward, maybe we'll have you back in another couple months again, because we like to do this at least a few times a year, because we're always getting, our pool is large. We still have another more 700 seniors to add to the pool, so they're coming in every day. And hopefully we'll have you back in a couple months again. Thank you for your most wonderful presentation. Okay. Thank you. Bye-bye. All right, everyone. Ms. Kennedy's saying goodbye for now. Please call the number that he suggests if you have any one-on-one questions you'd like answered. And I'm going to wrap it up for today and looking forward to seeing you tomorrow for module 5, not 4, but module 5, where we have the librarian, Chelsea Kirtland, to be here to answer questions, at least for the first part of this tomorrow's session. Okay. All righty. So we will go ahead, say goodbye for now. Have a pleasant afternoon. Bye-bye.